What's up, you guys? Zoeb here from OneGlanceTrader.com, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you a stock that I believe is going to 5x in the next 3 to 5 years, and I'll be showing you how I'm accumulating stock or shares in this stock today without spending a penny of my own capital. So, if you like the sound of that, all I ask for is that you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification. I'm nearly on 20,000 subscribers. I think it's like 19.1k from the last count. So please make sure that you subscribe. I'm doing weekly videos, Forex, stocks, options, all that kind of good stuff. So for those of you who are seeing my screen now, you probably worked out what the stock is, and the stock is Meta Platforms, aka Facebook, and I'll probably reference them as Facebook throughout this video because that's how I kind of know this company as. So there are three reasons why I believe, or well, there's two reasons why I believe that this stock is going to 5x in the next 3 to 5 years, and we'll go through that very quickly. But more importantly, the main reason of why I'm buying these shares, it's not because of the appreciation growth. Don't get me wrong, that is one of the reasons. But the other reason is that it's significantly undervalued today, and we'll go through some kind of metrics or valuation things that I've been looking at to kind of justify why I think that Facebook is undervalued. And then lastly, we'll be looking at the kind of cash flow model about how I accumulate these shares for absolutely free, and what I'll do once I've accumulated 100 shares, because what I'm trying to do is get to 100 shares of Meta, then I can start selling covered calls on Meta as well. So that's the plan. So let's get right into it. So the first reason why I believe that Facebook or Meta will 5x over the next 3 to 5 years is purely around the metaverse, right? Now, you don't rebrand your whole company as big as Facebook is to Meta if you're not going to be a significant player in this game, right? And there's a number of articles out there, and I'm a big believer of the metaverse. I think it is the next evolution of the internet. And this article here from Bloomberg says that it can be an $800 billion market. And if that is true, Facebook are in the best place for it. Think about it. The amount of money, cash flow, profit, it's a profit engine Facebook currently is today to go fuel the metaverse. And the piece that I like about it, if you look at Bloomberg's chart here in terms of the growth of um, the metaverse over the coming years, and they're saying it's going to be a growth rate of 13% year over year. All of this stuff where social media and gaming, they are probably the leaders in these two, and we'll go into that in a second. Um, but live entertainment, gaming software, things that where they don't normally play in, but for you to have live events in Meta's metaverse, you're going to have to pay to get in there. So of that growth rate, just creating the metaverse to allow these events and people to hang out and socialize, etc., will mean that Meta will be making a significant amount of money inside this. And yes, there's other competitors in terms of metaverses out there today, but I just think that they're best primed for this. They're the biggest company. They can throw a lot of cash at this, and you can tell when you look at Mark Zuckerberg and his passion and view of the metaverse. He is in this to make this work, right? And then if you carry on reading down this article, and I'll link to this article down below, um, you'll see over here it's got the competitive kind of landscape, and you know Facebook are operating in social networking. They are the leaders inside this space, right? And also gaming, AR, and VR. Again, Facebook playing here, but they can also profit from all these other verticals by purely having a metaverse and getting people coming to their metaverse to get all of these different things. So that is why I believe that this is the future. Facebook or Meta is best placed in the market to be able to do that. And if you look at kind of their kind of like tech blog, it goes through everything about all the stuff that they're doing on this. A very fascinating read. Um, and you know, if you don't know when this is potentially happening, I've lost it now. Yeah, it starts with a limited beta this year, expanding in 2022 and a full launch of the businesses in 2023. So, you know, going back to that 3 to 5 year horizon, um, that's where I kind of think that we are. So that's the first reason, or the main reason, why I believe that Facebook will 5x, or probably even more than that, over the coming years. The next reason why is the valuation of the stock. And you can see here that I've got a daily chart of Facebook at the moment. You can see it reached all-time highs at around, what's that high? Around the 380, 385. And yesterday, well, Hallmark has kind of tanked in the morning and then rallied back up with this whole Ukraine-Russian crisis. Went to a low of 190 dollars, right? And it closed the day at 207. And you can see this massive gap down. They basically, in terms of from an earnings perspective, I think what caused this massive gap down was their poor guidance for the coming year. Um, I think that's very short term, and I think it's a bit of an overreaction from the market. There's a lot of fears, the inflation, and all these other different things, which I think is short term. And if you're looking at a 5 year horizon, this, in my personal opinion, is not going to be an issue for Facebook. So if you look at it from a valuation perspective, so if we look at kind of where Facebook was trading at these lows over here. So back in April the 30th, 2020, so just after, you know, the kind of pandemic crisis, and then the kind of V-shape up for most stocks. If we look at their earnings around that time, where price it was currently at yesterday to when it last was in April the 30th, you'll see that they had a reported earnings per share of $1.71, right? And if you look at the latest earnings that they had, which was at this point over here, their earnings was $3.67, right? That's over 100% growth in their earnings during the last, whatever it is, just under 2 years. But we are trading at the same price. That is just ridiculous, especially for a company like Meta or Facebook, right? That to me is insane. This is a profit growth cash flow machine, and it's trading at the same levels of April 2020, but with double the earnings, double the profitability. It's absolutely insane, and that's what, you know, is kind of the key thing for me. And then what I also look at is I like looking for profitable companies. I like looking at this Guru Focus. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. It is free to look at this. I don't have an account, as you can see, and I like to look at, if you go to the summaries tab of a profitable stock, there is a, you know, fair value kind of graph here, and effectively it takes into account a lot of fundamental analysis, and it kind of puts in where the fair value of a stock price is. And you can see for Meta, you can see currently it is in the bright green, so it is, price is 45% lower than the fair value based on valuation metrics for indicators. Again, another buy signal inside my view of getting into this stock, because you can see here just before, you know, back in, you know, 2021, the back end of late summer, fall of 2021, where it was kind of overvalued, and now look at it go. You could have picked it up at anywhere during this point. It's still in a 5 year horizon. We're only going one way, but it's pretty much at the bottom, right, of this place here. So that, you know, are the indications that I need. So when I'm looking at this, is it a profitable machine? Yes, right. Is the valuation quote unquote cheap? Yes. Is the growth there? Metaverse? Yes. Fine. I'm comfortable with that to go into this particular stock. So how many shares have I got? What's my portfolio look like when it comes to Facebook? So with Facebook at the moment, just taking a screenshot of my holdings, I currently own 12 shares with a cost basis of 2,500 and an average price of $215 per share, and the current price is 204. Right. So again, slightly unrealized. We are in a bit of a turmoil times at the moment. So at the moment, I am down $100, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not really too bothered with this at the moment. And I've been picking up shares every week, every other week, sometimes 2 a week, sometimes even 3 a week. And it's very difficult inside this kind of market. So I'm not really thinking about it too much. I'm just, when I get the money or get the cash flow, which I'll go on to in a second, I then go and place I just go buy Facebook shares. So how am I actually getting these shares for free? So, or not spending my capital is probably a better way of putting it. So again, I did a video a couple of weeks ago around, around my cash flowing of stocks, and again, I'll link to that down below in the top right corner. That goes into the whole process in a lot more detail than what I'm going to go through right now, but it gives you the flavor of what I'm doing. So I talk about in that video about having cash flow stocks. So stocks that are high volatility, high volatility, have high premiums, stocks. And the two cash flow stocks that I have in my portfolio is RIOT, blockchain, and RIOT. These are two crypto miners, and they follow the crypto market. So when Bitcoin rises, they generally rise. When Bitcoin falls, they generally fall. Um, with that comes high volatility. With that comes higher premiums when it comes to selling options. So at the moment, I've got 600 shares of RIOT and 1,100 shares of RIOT. And what I'm doing every week to every 2 weeks is selling, or I say every week out or 2 weeks out, I am selling covered calls against my shares that I have, and that kind of brings in anywhere on average on a weekly basis, depending on the price, 200 to 400, I would say, depending on how close I go to at the money and various other things. And again, I'll be doing a dedicated video on creating or developing or choosing the right cash flow stocks and how to get into cash flow stocks, but that's for another day. So what I do is sell. So then I sell covered calls to generate premium, which is around $200 to $400 a week on average. I then take that money, and then, as it's seen here, I then go and buy Facebook stock, right? So the cash flow I'm making from these quote unquote cash flow stocks, I'm going to go buy Facebook stock, and that's how I've been managed to get to a position of 12 shares, right? And that's and again, I don't put the whole amount inside. I am buying other stocks as well between this 2 and 400, but majority is going into Facebook shares. Now, over time, I will then accumulate 100 shares of Facebook. It might take me a long time, because you've got to remember, with the current average of $215, that's 21 grand, right? So it's going to take me a while to get there, and I really want to take advantage of these lower prices, but I'm sticking to my model. I could put my own money in to go buy more shares of Facebook to speed up the process. But again, I don't want to risk my own capital, especially in this tough environment. So any money I am making, I'm putting it into shares. And as you see, it's not costed me anything, because my portfolio money is inside these two shares at the moment, right? So then I'll buy 100 shares of Facebook. And then what I'll do is I'll sell calls on Facebook, and then I'll repeat the process and go buy another stock. And then this stock here will be for free. This stock here will be for free. And it's kind of like a pyramid scheme of the stock market, as I like to call it, because then the chain just continues as kind of time goes on. And therefore you build a portfolio of shares, get those stocks to 100 shares, and then you keep selling options on them to generate more passive income. So this 400, my goal here is to kind of get this to 2 to 3k per week on average. That's where I want to get to. Um, then I'll just have this cash flow machine working. It's going to take me years to kind of get there. I've got no rush to kind of get into this. I'm kind of enjoying the process. So I would encourage you guys to have a look at the video. Again, it's down below to check that one out. So in fact, I'll put it on the end screen now, so we should be up there. So check that one out. I really hope you enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.